Welcome to Smart Cherry's Thoughts. This is Sai from India.
Nice to meet you, Sai.
Hi, Shinesa. Thank you for giving me opportunity to interview you for my YouTube channel and podcast.
Yeah, and thank you for asking me. I appreciate it.
So I have gone through your profile and I came to know that you are a principal product manager. So I thought to tell about you as a principal product manager in Microsoft to my audience.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to share my experience and what I work on.
So before that, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah. So my name is Shinesa Cambric. As you mentioned, I'm a principal product manager with Microsoft. I've been in the IT industry for over 18 years and with Microsoft for a little over 1 year. For the most part, I've been in the security industry. I've spent a little bit of time as an application developer and then moved over to application security and then from there into identity and access management. And then now I find myself as a product manager for identity security at Microsoft.
So security is different and application development is different. So why you wanted to come into product management?
Yeah, I think they're all different, but they're actually, in my mind, they're all related. And I'm really happy that I've gotten a chance to, touch different aspects of IT. At the end of the day, I feel like security is the most important role that I've played in making sure that as I've built code over the years, that it was secure code. As we protect identities, which we now know are like, it's like the center of the universe when it comes to IT, making sure that there's a secure identity and I think all of those pieces, and even I've had some experience with governance and compliance, and all of those pieces kind of fit together to me like a puzzle in making sure that you have a complete picture.
And application development, how was that experience?
Yeah, it was really good. So I graduated with a degree in computer science, and I didn't know that I would move into application development right away, but I had the opportunity to work on SAP ABAP for a company called International Paper. And so that's where I kind of learned my skills when it came to being a developer. And then I actually learned as part of my development process of how do you build secure code. And so that was kind of the gateway for me in moving into the security world. So from application developer to application security, and then eventually to identity and access management.
So what is product?
Yeah. So product management, if I were to give my definition in that, especially the role that I play with identity, is making sure that I am able to give voice to those security and identity practitioners that are out there trying to secure their companies, secure individuals at their companies and even consumers, and making sure that we build products in a secure way, that we build products that can protect identities, and that we build products that can actually prevent identity compromise.
So how you develop product based on the user experiences or the feedback, or you create by understanding by the competitors, by understanding the competitors what they are creating.
Well, I think there's a mix of that. How I try to go about it is just based on my past experience of being a security practitioner and thinking about what are the things that would have brought value to me. What were the pain points that I had that I needed help to solve? And so, bringing that lens to product management has been important for me. And I think hopefully I've added some value in that perspective. And then I also try to stay closely knit to the security community, so others that are still doing security hands-on type of work, and asking them, how can I best serve you as a product manager? What would you like to see? And then of course I would be lying if I didn't say that we do keep an eye on competitors and understand where are we in the market, and making sure that we do keep a competitive advantage.
So what you understood about product management?
Yeah. I've understood product management is only as good as the product that you build and the value that you're giving your consumer of that product. It's not helping anybody to build something that's difficult to use, that's complicated, or that sits on a shelf somewhere. I hate for companies to purchase or buy into something that they can't actually use and get value from. So I feel like that's really important to stay in touch with those individuals that would be using the product and making sure that we're providing value to them. And then, from there, actually like going a step above that. So we've provided this value to you. And then what's the next step of making sure that that product continues to provide value? So, if you think about security, you may have closed one door or one gap, but what are the other gaps and doors that you need to start thinking about closing? What is the future going to bring for identity, for security as a whole? And one of the things that's really exciting to me is thinking about the whole Web3 and metaverse and what new security challenges will come out of that. And with those new security challenges, how do we protect individuals?
Can I say product means an expression and which an expression, the expression of a person, and which should connect with maximum number of people or users?
I like that idea. I really like that definition. I may have to take that from you, write that down somewhere. Product management as an expression. I really like that.
So how to know this expression should connect with maximum number of people? How can as a developer or a product manager I will know that this will connect with everybody?
Well, to me, it's making sure that you're staying in touch with the people that you're trying to serve with your product, right? As a product manager, we can't sit to the side and then build these things and then throw them over the wall at a consumer and say, hey, we've built this, now you need to use it. No, we should be tightly integrated with those people that we're serving and understand the challenges that they're facing. What's most important to a business and protecting their users and their, crown jewels in their environment. And without that information, I feel like we can't build a good product. We can build something and it may be of use to some individuals, but we can't build the best product without knowing the people that we're trying to serve.
So how your working experience in security, what are those points are helping you to be a good product manager today?
Yeah. I feel like one of the things that's helped me is that in being a security practitioner or security architect in the past is I know the challenges that those individuals face in coming up with a solution that is not only cost effective, it also doesn't build a drain on the people that are in the team. That you look at things like automation and what can you do there to accomplish more. And then also, building in those risk and compliance factors. So, security is really important. And also companies need to focus a lot on governance and risk and compliance because there's a financial implication to them if they don't. So how do we bring that whole picture together? And having that experience of having to do that, of working with, compliance teams and working with senior management, of building a roadmap of how do you get from, one point to the next point, say for your zero trust journey. We know that doesn't happen overnight, right? So how do you build a plan and a product that allows them to consume bits and pieces at a time as they go on that journey?
So application development means working on internal thing of the software. So now you are managing the software. So how is this?
Well,
You're watching it from the top view, and before that you worked and saw the application from inside and the mechanism of it, how it works, how what are the loopholes, and where the negative things or the positive things. You worked on inside. Now outside, you're watching from out. How is this?
and for me, I wouldn't say there's a negative piece, but there's an understanding, right? So as a software developer, software engineer, and knowing what it takes to build an actual design. So for me as a product manager, it's easy to say, here's the feature I want, here's the timeline that we're trying to achieve. But then the software engineers are actually, the muscle behind this to actually build that vision. And so just like I say, you need to have a relationship with your consumer. You also need to have a relationship with the engineers who are helping to build these products, because you need to sell a vision to them. And you also need to help them understand your consumer and what it is they're facing and why this product is so valuable. For me, it's like putting my heart and soul in something, but then also how do you influence others to put their heart and soul in this product as well and believe in that big picture. So, kind of we're the face of the product, but they're the behind the scenes muscle that gets it built.
What are your favorite products?
Oh, so if I don't want to steer too much towards, where I work, but I do have some favorite products there, and that we've just released some features related to workload identity security. And so I'm really excited about my team has been able to do that, and kudos to the team. But totally outside of security and totally outside of, what my team works on, I would say I'm a fan of Apple products. They have really tapped into usability in that consumer experience. And so kudos to them.
So I can see in your experience, in your total work experience, you worked in different roles and in different companies. So what all these experiences taught you, and how those experiences are helping you to solve the problems today as a principal product manager.
I think that's a great question. And for me, it goes back to I'm a big advocate for diversity within cybersecurity. And diversity doesn't just mean, being a female or being a person of color. To me, it's also diversity of thought in your experiences. And so having the experience of being an application developer, an application security, and then working on governance and risk and compliance, and bringing those different tool sets and mindsets as I'm building a product, then I can think about, when we deploy this product and somebody puts it in their environment, what are the things that they're considering? What are the types of conversations they're having with their, audit team about these products? What are the type of conversations they need to have with their CISOs? What are the types of reporting data that they want to be able to get and insights with these products? And so having that whole holistic background, I think, helps with those different pieces and parts of having a product. There's a whole product life cycle, not just giving the product and they deploy it to their environment, but what are all the touch points that go along with that?
So what made Microsoft products to reach everywhere on this planet?
I think that Microsoft, one of the great things is Microsoft builds for everybody. There's nowhere you can go essentially where there's not some Microsoft product that touches individuals. And that was one of the exciting things for me about, coming on board with Microsoft, is that the impact that I get to have as part of this and securing people's environments, securing, kids as they're on laptops and using Microsoft, software, the whole identity piece of that. For me, a big thing is I'm really into superheroes and Marvel movies. And sometimes when I'm on things like this, people see my Marvel characters in the background. And, I feel like Microsoft has given me that opportunity to be a behind the scenes superhero in protecting individuals' identities.
As a cloud engineer or a cloud architect trainee, I also observed the Microsoft Azure cloud growing very quick, very fast. So what do you think is working for Microsoft to go
Well, I
be in
think,
the second position ever?
yeah, there's a couple of things I would say is timing has been fortunate in that it's a bad thing that this pandemic came around, but as a result of the pandemic, a lot of companies started shifting, to the cloud, and Azure has built a lot of functionality that makes that easy for people, right? And then being able to stay connected through things like Teams, through a pandemic and having to work remotely or, even doing school and things like that remotely, and having some software that helps with that, I think has been a big benefit to us. The other thing is that I feel like we're everyday people, right? We can relate to the individuals who need to use these types of products. And so Microsoft is a trusted voice, I think, when it comes to cloud, when it comes to software, when it comes to security.
So I can call you as the example for diversity because you are into different things, you worked in different places, and you understood different technologies. So how this diversity is helping you, this diverse experience is helping you in building and managing products?
Well, that diversity, so I think it helps in that I've had some experiences and I can lend and share those experiences as we're thinking through products. I think it's also good in that I have a diverse community around me, both within Microsoft and even outside of Microsoft, who can share their experiences with these products. And so that we're not just building for one single individual type. We're building in a way that's going to accommodate different types of perspectives and different use cases, which makes a product to me more valuable. So if you can only market to one, very narrow individual type, there's not a lot where you can sell, your product to. But if you can reach a bunch of different individuals, then your product to me will have a longer life cycle.
So tell me about your team.
Yeah. So very brand new team. For me, I'm getting the opportunity to lead a team that's being called as emerging identities. So very new in staffing this team out. And our focus is on, I mentioned earlier about Web3 and metaverse and new technologies like that. And how do you secure identity in those spaces? So if you think about, things like blockchain, what identity protections exist there? What identity protections exist when you're using, crypto and NFTs? Also thinking about, B2B experiences, so a business to business. How do I, as a business, trust this other business that's coming into my environment? What are the safeguards that need to be put in place? And what products can be built to help with those safeguards of detection and protection? Another key area for me will be the business to consumer space. As we move to decentralized identity and consumers themselves own everything about their identity, how do we make sure that they have the tool sets to protect themselves, but then also others are protected from malicious actors when it comes to that?
So your diverse experience, how it helps you in building beautiful products which connects with everybody, because you are pretty new for Microsoft, but before that you worked in various places. So how do you think your contribution is going to create massive energy in Microsoft in coming days?
That's a cool question. For me, I feel like the biggest thing, even more so than diversity, which, is core to who I am, is also the empathy piece of that. So I can imagine myself being in somebody else's shoes when they're using these products, or, just sharing a little bit of personal is that I have children. So as I think about, my children connecting in this digital environment, what type of safeguards would I want to be there for them? In thinking about my parents who are an older generation, how do you make sure that they understand or have enough safeguards when it comes to digital identity and protecting them? As we shift to, things like the metaverse and virtual reality. So I feel like those diverse experiences have put me in different situations where I can think, with a visionary aspect of where does this lead to? And using that visionary aspect, then I start thinking about products and how do we protect individuals in that way.
Tell me the way you look at products.
Yeah. It goes back to me to that empathy type of thing of, if I'm Sai, say for example, and what is Sai's day-to-day experience and where would he potentially like some safeguards to be put in place? Or, maybe there's things that he doesn't even know he needs to be secured from. And how can I automatically protect Sai when he's connecting through, Skype, for example? Or, maybe you're studying in college and how do I protect your identity as you're turning in assignments to your professor online? So I just put myself in those situations and I think about what's the best way to protect those individuals.
So Microsoft products are into the market from long time, and it is also secured, and it is also uh, 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 very safe at the same time. It has authenticity. So people, non-technical people also, most of the non-technical people also easily can recognize what Microsoft product is. So how this went everywhere?
To me, it goes back to the relationship, right, of building products for everybody, trying to build in a way that's inclusive, and thinking about different perspectives and different use cases. And as you have a product that's easy to use, that meets a need, people share that feedback with others, and then you have a mass growth of people who want to use those products. So it's no longer you pushing a product to an individual, it's individuals asking, now we want this product.
So while developing applications, being a developer, you are talking with machine. Now, as a principal product manager, you're talking with human beings. How is this?
There's challenges either way, right? Because with my mindset of being a product manager, and say, for example, now I need to, when I speak with engineers, I need to put on an engineering hat of what is their perspective when they need to build a feature. It may be that, as I'm trying to communicate a feature to leadership, now I need to put on a leadership hat of how would I actually sell this product to individuals? Who would want to buy it and why? What's the business case for that? So I think there's challenges and there's opportunities both ways. When you're speaking with when you're operating with the machine, then there's just not that element of connection, right? It's just some piece of software, and sometimes that's good, and that you want to just heads down focus on something. But then it's also good to have people around you that you can conversate with and bounce ideas off of, and build, like I was mentioning, that inclusive collaboration environment. We're stronger together, because we've pulled all these different diverse ideas together.
So before working for the application or a software developer, do you know that in future I'm going to become product manager?
Back when I started, a product manager wasn't even a thing that was on my radar. And to be honest, when I first started, even, cybersecurity wasn't a thing, right? Those of us that worked in security, that was considered like the lowest of the low. Like nobody wanted to be in security. And I'm so happy that cybersecurity now is something that people are really interested in. Now it's really prominent. Even governments are pushing cybersecurity and the importance of things like zero trust. And it's really exciting to see how that has grown as an industry and as a field.
So, like you said, you like Apple products, and you're working in Microsoft products. So, what do you observe the difference?
I would say one of the differences, of course, the products that I'm mentioning for Apple are not security focused. But one of the things they do really great to me is anticipate a need, right? They build in these features knowing that, as we progress as a digital society, these are things that individuals may want or need. Another thing that they're really good at doing is the aspect of privacy and security that they build into their products, right? And it's really intuitive. Like you don't need to take a training class or, read a lot of documentation to use their product. It's just, you pick it up and then you kind of get the hang of it right away, which is something that I think is really valuable for us to learn as a security industry, is building products that are very intuitive, easy to use, and not cumbersome for our customers.
Your observations on products development, or the software products that you have seen in your entire work experience, the evolution. What do you say about it?
I would say, so if I understand the question correctly about the evolution of how software's happened, one of the things that I've seen over the years that's changed is, and even going back to my point about Apple, is the usability of a product. Before, being solely focused on the function of something versus how usable is that for an individual? How easy to use is it for those individuals? So I think usability has grown as a big field.
So where these products are going to, where it is going to reach in coming days?
In the coming days, I feel like all digital products, and it kind of feels far off in some ways when you think about metaverse and virtual reality and augmented reality, but it's actually here. And I feel in the coming days that there's going to be more of a shift of that, of companies thinking about, what is my role to play in this new digital reality that's here and going to progress. From a security standpoint, again, how do we protect individuals as they make those progressions into this new digital reality? And then making sure that we're building products that fit a consumer's lifestyle and that are easy for them to consume and use.
So if you're building products which are going to work by itself, what you're going to do?
Well, I mean, there's still somebody who has to maintain those things, right? So as environments change and as we see new things happening, those products need to be shifted. And I think my role as a product manager is not just, taking care of the products now, but then having a visionary look of, 5, 10, 15 years from now, what does society look like? What do I anticipate that people will need? And start, pushing features in that direction so that when consumers get there, we already have a product to meet that need.
So any product comes from an imagination of a human being, right? So that invisible thing we as a human beings are going to create in reality. It can be a physical thing or invisible thing, but we are trying to create something which has not existed before. That's my
I would,
thinking.
yeah, totally agree with that statement. It's all about imagination and putting yourself in the shoes of somebody else and anticipating what are they going to need in the future? What do they need now?
So is it possible to create a product which connects with every species on this planet?
I'm not going to say it's impossible. I'm going to say there's probably a lot of thought that has to take place to make that happen, but I'm sure someday we may get there. Even beyond this planet, possibly.
So this is slightly a different question from the job that you're doing. Do you understand about space technology?
I understand bits and pieces about space technology. Yes. I won't say I'm an expert.
Okay, so are we going to send information to maximum distance from this planet as a technologist? What do you think?
We will definitely send information. Now, when you say maximum distance, I don't think we've come up with what that maximum distance is. I think there's so much out there in the universe that we've not touched any edges on that. But as far as sending information, yes, we will definitely be sending information above and beyond.
So Microsoft is building data centers under the water and also testing, and humans are able to use and communicate with those data centers and able to solve their problems. Yeah. So are we going to put data centers in the space?
I think at some point, to be honest, we probably will. Just thinking about all of the different companies that are doing space exploration, that's one of the, I think, forefronts that we will be touching in the next, 5 to 10 years is more of that. I can't speak on behalf of Microsoft of whether we will actually do that, but I would imagine there's a lot of companies who will start, putting places there in space.
So, at last, what do you say about product management and being a principal product manager?
So I would say if you have a desire to influence products that are available to individuals, especially in the security space, product management is a great field. Don't think you need to come from any certain type of background to be a product manager. I'm not a traditional product manager. I came up through security. I came up as a user of the products. And now I'm really excited that I get to influence how those products are built for others. So I would encourage people, to reach out, to look into this field. It's a really, growing area, and we need more people. I think you're on mute, Sai. Still can't hear you. There.
Yeah, are we able to create a product which has a user interface with which a human can solve problems very fast by understanding the evolution till today? What do you say?
I would say that's totally possible. Now, all the technology may not be there as of yet, but I'm sure it's coming. I was reading just the other day about some companies who are building devices that are like contact lenses that you can put on your eye, and that are going to be similar to a computer, right? So if we can do things like that, I would say there's really not a limit to what you can do. The limit is your imagination, that vision, and then bringing others into that passion and getting other people on board to where they put their energy into building this product.
What you don't understand about product management?
Sometimes I would say one of the things I don't understand about product management is building a product where you don't get consumer feedback. So making sure that what we've actually built actually meets a need. The other thing I don't understand about product management, and maybe it's more so on the consumer side than the product management feature build side, is when consumers purchase a product and they choose not to implement it, what was the reasoning behind that? So you've put in a cost and you chosen not to use this product, and why?
Do you have a particular goal being in this position? I want to do this for sure.
I would say my high level goal is, and I've touched on this a few times, our new digital society. So as we go to more augmented reality and virtual reality, my ultimate goal is making sure that people like my children and my parents and people within my sphere of influence are protected.
So at last, what is your observation about my work?
I think you're doing a very necessary service because there are so many different domains and jobs that are here within IT and security. And, I get a lot of questions about how do you get into a particular field, or what are the jobs that are out there? And for people like you to be able to share this knowledge and see people like me firsthand, I think that's great. I think what's also very valuable is that you have a diverse set of people that you bring on, so that people can see that not everybody's the same, but yet there's all these opportunities that are out there.
So how this experience talking with experts like you who are into different positions, or who are into different industries, and also who are into IT industry in different roles from level 1 to level 5, if I'm talking with them and extracting this information and knowing how they are making things possible, how this information that is going to helpful for me if I am going to work in IT in coming days. I did masters in software engineering, so how I can use this?
Yeah, no, I think to me that's another really good question, in that you can take a little bit away from everybody at every level. And one of the things I was actually thinking about earlier today is the importance of reverse mentoring. So I've been in the IT industry for 18 plus years, as I mentioned, and it's important for me to have people that are younger than me newer in the field and be able to learn from them as well, because their experiences with technology are totally different than mine. But I need those experiences to help influence the work that I do. And so I think it's like the same way for you and, others that would be listening to this, is you need to have a diverse set of experiences around you to do the best job possible. If I just only stick with people who have been in 18 plus years of industry, we're not going to build products that will be usable for people who are just coming out of high school, for example, because their experience is totally different. The way they use products is different.
So last one I want to ask, and I want to close. What is working for you to wake up in the morning every day and solve problems?
So I think that's a tough question, but I would say for me, it's partially in my nature. I've taken a few personality tests over the years, and one of the things that came back for me is that I'm considered what's called a guardian. And I think that's also why I like superheroes, is because I like to the idea of bad guys being defeated and people being protected and doing the right thing for the right reason, just because it is the right thing to do. So I get up in the morning because I love a challenge, and one of the challenges in front of me is, how do we make sure that people are secure?
So you like larger than life characters?
I do. So if you think about like Captain America and Thor, and yeah.
So can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and also can I put audio and video clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Yeah, more than happy to have you do that. Yes.
So you want to share anything to my audience, your web links or anything?
So I am on LinkedIn. If others would like to connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm open there. On Twitter, I'm Global Secure One. So GLEAUXBALSECUR1. I'm happy to connect with others on Twitter as well. Yeah.
So thank you again, Shinesa, for giving me your valuable time and allowing me to ask few questions and allowing me to interview you.
Yeah, and thank you for doing this as a service. I think it's very valuable for our community.
So in future, I'll interview you again if you give me a chance.
I think sounds great.
So thank you again.
Thanks, Sai. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.